People say that I am privileged. They say I'm privileged because I have a job. I have a job that pays decently well. I have a job that allows me to work from home the vast majority of the time. I have a job that is relatively stress free when you think about all the other jobs that are out there. And there are probably millions of people that would love to have the type of job that I do. But I don't consider myself privileged. And I don't consider myself fortunate to have it. You might think, Tony, what's wrong with you? Have you been knocked upside the head a few too many times? Did you lose a few brain cells somewhere? What kind of crazy thinking is this? But I want to explain my thought process because I think too many people look at a job as some kind of blessing when it's really not. Let's talk about a zoo. Everybody has been to a zoo or knows what a zoo is. You have your animals that are in there, and animals in most zoos are treated reasonably well. They have these enclosures, which usually have all different types of environments that are suited for where they like to live. If you have African savanna or you have, swamplands or whatever else the case might be. So they have places to live that are appropriate for the type of animal that they are. They get food, and often they get the best quality food. They get the best quality medical care, dental care, whatever the case might happen to be. They get enrichment and opportunities to socialize potentially with other animals or with animals of their own kind if that's what they like. But the one thing that comes back to is they're still trapped. There's still walls around them, figuratively or literally. There's an edge to their enclosure that they can go to. Their schedules. Their schedules are completely controlled by other people. The food that they eat is completely controlled. Almost everything is very rigidly controlled in those animals' lives. So even though they have a good existence, they're not free. One thing that I hear very often when you have people say, well, why don't we care for these animals and then eventually work to put them back into the wild where ideally they should be at? And what you constantly hear is that these animals have lost their instinct. They've lost that necessary skill or skills to be able to survive out in the wilderness. And so we have to keep them here for their own good. And I always think to myself, well, is that really the case? Is that really true? If somebody took the time and the effort to prepare them to go back out into the wild on their own, would they be able to do it? Have they really lost that instinct? Or has that instinct been suppressed because of the environment they live in? I want to take that concept of a zoo and apply it back to a job. In the same way that animals feel trapped, in essence, because of the walls that they live in, I think that a job also traps each and every one of us. Sure, I have food, I have clothing, I have the ability to go out and do some nice things, but ultimately I'm trapped. I'm controlled. I am completely controlled by the job, by my boss, by the company that I work for. roughly a third of my life is completely under their thumb. They tell me what to do. They tell me how high I'm supposed to jump, how far I'm supposed to be able to jump. Yes, sir, yes, ma'am, whatever the case might happen to be. I have no control over that. You might say, well, sure, you have some control. True. There's some small amount of freedom that I have within my job. But for the most part, that freedom doesn't exist. And you might say, well, if you're not happy, just quit. Just find a different job. But is any job really different? Every job, you're basically working for somebody else. You're basically putting your time, your energy, your effort, your blood, sweat, and tears to help somebody else or some corporation to make money. And yeah, you agree to it, you get paid, you get a paycheck for what you do. But are you really getting paid what you're worth? Not at all. And I would also go as so far as to say that a job does even more than trap you physically. It traps you mentally. Why, if I'm in a job, why would I want to put more effort in? Why would I want to come up with tons of new ideas, tons of new whatever the case might happen to be? Why would I want to expend all of that energy? What does it get me? In most jobs, if you work extra hard, the result is you maybe get a pat on the back, you maybe get a small paltry few dollars extra pay on your next performance review, whatever that happens to be. Yay, I got 50 cent an hour raise for an entire year. Woo! That can go buy me a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Maybe. Not even sure you can do that anymore. Or your reward is, hey, we're going to give you more responsibility because you like doing all this extra work. We're going to give you more work. So ultimately, all that energy, all that time, all that effort you put in, it amounts to nothing. It really amounts to nothing. So you just get your mental capabilities get suppressed because you have no desire to do more. And I like to think that a good job, a nice job like the one that I have, in some ways, it's made me soft. It's made me weak. I'm okay waking up at, in the morning, waking up 5-10 minutes before I'm supposed to start my job, roll out of bed, sit down at my computer, load it up. I don't have to put any effort in. I don't have to put any work in, at least not to even get to my job. A lot of people think that's great. I suppose to an extent it is great. But is this the existence that I'm going to have? Is this what the rest of my life is going to be? I figuratively clock in at 9 o'clock in the morning, do my whatever stuff until 5 p.m., clock out, and do that 5 days a week, have a couple days off to do whatever else, and that's my existence. It's a pretty pathetic existence. And it really doesn't encourage me to want to do anything more because I'm comfortable. I'm happy. Maybe happy is too strong a word. I'm content. And I'm complacent. Sometimes I think the people that don't have a job, those are the people who are fortunate. Those are the people who are privileged. Now, nobody likes to lose a job. Nobody likes to lose your source of income. I get that. That can be a very difficult thing. But losing your job, losing your source of income, it forces you to be better. It forces you to say to yourself, crap, I've got no money in the bank. I've got no opportunity to do or no other way to bring in money. I better figure out something because there are no other options. If I don't figure out how to bring some money and how to keep myself going, I'm gonna be homeless. I'm gonna be on the street. And yes, there are some people that fall down and fall into that horrible cycle. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that also rise from that, that take that challenge to heart and they start businesses. They find ways to make money. They figure out what their passion is and they put every ounce of effort into that passion and they make it successful. That's very inspiring. Who's truly the fortunate one? The person who has a soft, content life, but is doing nothing with it, isn't doing anything that really inspires them, that really motivates them, that instead they just do their 8 hours, 5 days a week, and just go about their existence. No real goals or ambitions in their life. Or that person that hit rock bottom and figured out how to rise from it. They built a business. They found something that drives them every single day. They did something amazing that changed the world because they realized that they didn't want to spend what little time they have on this earth doing nothing with it. I'll leave with this story. I really think that it personifies what a job is or what a job is not. About 10 years ago, I was working a job at a call center. I was a manager. It was a dead end job, had really no prospects of going anywhere. I was getting paid absolute garbage, being expected to work ridiculous hours for nothing. And I was completely and utterly just fed up with the whole thing. So I quit. Packed up everything that I could fit from my life in my car. What couldn't fit didn't come with me, and drove across the country. I didn't have a job lined up. I had signed a lease for a new apartment. Really didn't know how I was going to pay for that lease, but I signed it. And I was okay. I ended up actually doing a job interview, driving to the new state where I was going to live, ended up landing a job a week later, and ended up taking a job in a completely different profession, a profession where IT specifically, where I wanted to see my career grow. And looking back, it was one of the craziest, dumbest, most ridiculous things that anybody could do. Who in their right mind is going to quit their job, pack up their life, move across the country, not even knowing where your next paycheck is going to come from? And I did it. And I look back at it. I look back, this was 10 years ago. Would I do it now? No, absolutely, I wouldn't do it now. And in a certain sense, I almost feel bad that I wouldn't do it now. I feel bad because I know now. I know everything, all the challenges behind it, and I get bogged down in it. Yet younger me chose to take a bet on myself. And that bet turned out to be a winner. It absolutely changed my life. It put me on a completely different trajectory, and certainly I wouldn't be close to the place that I am today. I'm not successful by any stretch, but I am way better than where I was because I took that chance. So I want all of you out there to think about this in conclusion to this wandering, meandering story that I have. Do you really want to spend the rest of your life trapped? Do you want to be like a zoo animal, trapped in a cage? Sure, you're content. Your life, you don't really have any need for anything. Everything is just okay. Or do you want to bet on yourself? Do you want to take a chance? Do you want to go out there and do something that drives you, that makes you passionate? Do you want to have a meaningful life? I'll leave that to each of you to consider.